Hey guys, it is April from Getting Hygge with It. Today I wanted to share with you the thriller books that I really need to read by the end of 2018. These are the ones that I'm going to be prioritizing over all of the thrillers on my shelves, which, as you know, I've got a few. So let's get into it. So the only book that I don't have a physical copy for is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I barely know the premise of The Last Time I Lied. All I know really is that it's written by Riley Sager, and he wrote Final Girls, which was my favorite thriller that I read last summer. And for me, summer is the time that I just can't get enough of thrillers for some reason. You'd think fall would be that time for me, but no, summer does it for me. And The Last Time I Lied, I believe, takes place at a cabin where someone goes missing or something horrible happens at a cabin, and I want to know. Riley Sager is really just a lovely writer. He pays homage a lot to horror movies. And so I'm kind of expecting that again here with The Last Time I Lied. I'm really hoping to get an ARC copy of this from the publisher because I'm desperate to read it so badly. So fingers crossed. So that's the first one. I don't have a copy of it, so I'm sorry I can't share that with you. But I also really want to read Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. Now this is a classic. This takes place in Australia. And when was this even written? This was published in the 1960s, and it follows a group of girls who all go to this boarding school. They go to Appleyard College for Young Ladies, and they all agree to go and have a picnic at Hanging Rock. After lunch, a group of 3 girls go exploring, and they never returned. Oh, I think people in Australia, I think this is one of their like flagship pieces of classic literature from Australia for them. And it is currently being turned into a mini-series. I think that mini-series is coming out really soon, actually. And I'm hoping to record that. I believe it's on HBO or Bravo. I'm recording that so I can watch that miniseries, but I really want to read the book first. Obviously, it's a classic, and I should do that. And it's quite short. It's just about 200 pages, and I'd love to know what happened to these 3 girls. So yes, that is definitely going down before 2018 ends. I also really want to read Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough. This is by the same woman who wrote Behind Her Eyes, which was a huge hit. It was a huge hit, and this is her latest, and it's gotten a lot of good reviews on Goodreads, so that makes me super excited. And this is the story of a single mom, her daughter, and her best friend, and the secrets they hide, the lies they tell, and the danger they can't escape. And now I feel like that's not a lot of information. Usually thrillers, the little blurb on the back of thrillers will give you a little bit more information. And this one's not really divulging a lot, but I think it's for a reason. Like maybe if they divulged a bit more, it would be a spoiler immediately. So I don't really mind. This one is coming out in September, but I got my hands on an ARC copy, and I will definitely be reading this soon. It sounds really fun, and yeah, can't wait. I also really want to read In the Vines by Shannon Kirk. This is about a woman who goes back to the New England seaside estate where her mother grew up after her mom dies very mysteriously. Now her Auntie Liv still lives on this estate, and she discovers that her Auntie Liv has a lot of secrets, and those secrets are revealed. And I just think that this would be the perfect summer read. This was on my summer TBR. I'll link that somewhere. But I really want to read this thriller before 2018 is finished. I also really want to read Intensity by Dean Koontz. This would be my first Dean Koontz. And we are following a girl who is kidnapped by this madman. He enters this home. I think she's sleeping over at someone's house. Anyway, he, I think, kills everyone else and kidnaps her. And she's trying to get away. And she discovers who his next victim is going to be. And so she's the only person who would know who this next victim is going to be. And she's trying to stop it. It sounds really intense. And I've been meaning to read this for so long. So I want to make 2018 the year that I do this. So fingers crossed. I also really want to read Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. This is about a girl whose mother is a serial killer, and she is nervous because she's worried about the concept of nature versus nurture. She's worried that there might be a part of her who also is bad, like her mother. She is the star witness at her mother's trial. And the very fact that she's that star witness just dredges up all of the stuff. I am so eager to read this. It just sounds like so much fun. So that's got to happen before 2018 is done. Of course, I also want to read Karen Slaughter's latest, Pieces of Her. This is coming out in August. And this is another mother-daughter story about a mother and a daughter who are out on a shopping trip, and something really violent happens at the mall, and the mother springs into action. And we find out that the mother had a whole other life before her daughter Andrea is born. Totally different life. Andrea had no idea. She sees her mom reacting this way at the mall, and she's just like, who is this? This is not anything like my mom. And so we find out what happens with her mom. This is a chunker. I gotta say, Karen Slaughter, she writes really long books. Like, this is nearly 500 pages. They could be shortened a little bit, but I really like them because I think you get tied to the characters a little bit more when they're a bit longer. And she does characters very, very well. They are fleshed out. You know them inside and out. And so what happens to them, these horrible things that happens to them, makes it all the more horrifying because you're so upset by it. So I am so happy that I'm going to be reading this in 2018. Yes. Okay, so just two more. I've got to read Our Kind of Cruelty. And this follows a really creepy guy who is basically stalking his ex-girlfriend, and he thinks it's a game that they're playing, but his ex-girlfriend is getting married. Like, she has moved on with her life, but he thinks that it's a game, and at some point he'll be able to be with her. And I know that this is going to end horribly. I think he's going to do horrible, horrible things to this girl and also her fiance, and I'm really interested. And it's written from the perspective of the stalker, very much like You by Carolyn Kepnes. It's got those vibes, so I'm really hoping it's good. And finally, I really like to read The House Swap by Rebecca Fleet. This one has like kind of mixed reviews, I think, on BookTube. But just the premise of it, I love. It's about a couple who does a house swap with someone else, and they move into this house. Their marriage is really not doing well. And the woman of this couple, her name is Carolyn, she starts seeing little things in the house that are tied to her. Music being played, her favorite flowers, and slowly but surely she realizes that the person who owns the house or someone who lives in the house somehow knows her really well and these are messages to her. And I'm just so excited. This is another one that's on my summer TBR, and I if I don't get to it this summer, I've got to get to it before 2018 is finished. So yeah, those are all of the books that I'm like prioritizing above all thrillers. I'm really hoping to get to them all. So let me know in the comments below what thriller you are most excited to read by the end of the year. What is the thriller that you're like, that has to happen or I will have accomplished nothing this year? I would love to know, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye!